Your thoughts, words, and actions shape your reality. You are a powerful creator, and the universe responds to your vibrational offering. Abraham Hicks. The point of today's video, this lesson, is to make you think about how you may be creating your daily life unknowingly by doing the same things over and over. If you find yourself doing the same things over and over in your personal and work life, you might be bored and used to being unhappy. It happens. That's your new comfort zone. This talk will help you realize when you're creating unconsciously and how you can switch to creating consciously. So ask yourself this question. What happens when we don't pay attention? See, the way we use our attention is a powerful force that shapes our lives. When we think about something over and over again, we give it more power and energy, which can make it bigger in our lives. Whatever you focus on, you align to. But what happens when we don't pay attention to what we're doing? When we let our minds wander aimlessly or get stuck on bad thoughts, we unintentionally create more of the same thing. We may find ourselves stuck in patterns of negativity, anxiety, or even sadness without understanding that our uncontrolled focus keeps us in these states, and we keep manifesting from those states. So by becoming aware of our attention and taking responsibility for it, we can break out of these patterns and start to build a more intentional world around us. We can choose to think, speak, and act in a positive way, and when we do, we start to see positive changes in our lives. It's just a fact. Your imagination is the bridge between your thoughts and your reality. By aligning your thoughts, words, and actions with your desired outcome, you can manifest it into existence. Neville Goddard. So the problem is consumption and regurgitation of reality. Taking in reality is not the problem in and of itself. The real problem is that we don't have a good mix between how much we consume and how much we repeat what we already know. Imagine trying to learn something new when someone's trying to help you and give you support in any category. How many times have you found yourself saying, I know that won't work. I know better because, and you throw in some story of your past. And therefore, and all of a sudden, you can't take in anything new. It's like trying to buy new clothes for your closet, but your closet's already full. There's no room to put anything in. So what happens? You put on the same thing every single day, even though you keep saying, I have nothing to wear. Just a thought. We live in a world where information is always coming at us, whether it's from social media, the news, or other people. We take in this information without giving it much thought. And then we throw it back out into the world without thinking about how it might affect us or others. This loop of unintentional consumption and regurgitation makes us feel like we're not in touch with ourselves, our real selves, or the world around us. But if we can learn to be more aware of what we eat and consume and how we interact with the world, we break out of this circle, this loop, and live a more real and satisfying life. Do you ever think about how you do things? To start figuring out what kind of world we make unconsciously, we must first look at our habits. This means we need to take a step back and watch what we think, say, and do throughout the day. what thoughts, words, and actions have to do with making reality. The things we think, say, and do have impact on the world around us. What we pay attention to and how we talk has a big effect on everything that we do. By being more aware of what we think, say, and do, we can start to shape a world that fits what we really want, what we truly desire and value. So you have to identify your blueprint. It's yours and yours alone. We all have a plan for how we see and engage with the world. This plan is made up of our past events and ideas, and it often works without us even realizing it. Think about how many things you do on a daily basis because you have already memorized your routine. How many times have you turned direction towards your home or your office and wonder, wow, how did I get here? I've been daydreaming for the last 20 minutes. It's pretty scary, but we learn by habit and then we act instinctively so that we can adapt. This is a good thing, but not when you are consuming and regurgitating reality and complaining about how nothing ever changes. That's when you have to change the routine, change the route, go a different direction. By figuring out our plan, we start to see where our patterns and habits come from and start making conscious decisions about how we want to shape our world. Tell me about yourself. By putting down who you are and what makes you unique, you can find out what your plan is hiding. Your plan controls how you see yourself, and it tells you what you think about the world. We're talking about your self-speech, your worldview. This task will help you find any negative thought patterns or limiting ideas that might be stopping you from living your best life. This world we make also affects our relationships and our emotions. We may find that we keep doing the same things and feeling the same way over and over again without knowing why. By becoming more aware of these habits and feelings, we start to change our focus and make relationships and transitions that are better and more satisfying. There is a connection between our relationships and our feelings, because our feelings and our relationships are inseparable. What we feel in one part of our lives changes how we feel in other parts. The days of compartmentalizing do not work. You cannot leave your home life at home and your work life at work and assume that everything's going to be hunky-dory. Everything that you say, think, and do affects everything. Even though it may be tempting to depend on our partners to validate everything we think and feel, this is not a good long-term solution. Yes, we all want to be able to share with our partner and get support and be validated. But if we keep dipping into that for days, weeks, months, and years, we surrender our empowerment to our partner and put the burden of what we think, feel, and do on them. And that never works out. Not long term. Ask yourself, are you expecting your partners, your relationships to carry the weight of your pain and your suffering, your confusion, or your boredom with life? Is it their job to fix you? It's your job. We have to be responsible for our own mental health and figure out how to deal with our problems from the past. Our partners can help us, but they can't solve all of our problems. It is not your husband or your wife's fault or responsibility that you were cheated on, that you got fired, that you're not happy with life. That's on you. take it off of their shoulders because they can't do anything about it, much more than a Band-Aid here and there. It doesn't last. Just look at the occurrence of divorces and breakups in our country, in our world. Yeah, you wonder how that happens? If you make everything their responsibility, that's what happens. In Buddhism, our thoughts, words, and actions are the seeds that we sow. By nurturing positive thoughts, speaking kind words, and engaging in compassionate actions, we cultivate a harmonious and fulfilling reality. Nichiren Daishonin. So, you have to figure out your story. What's your story like? Your story is what you tell yourself about your life and the way things are. It shapes what you believe and what you expect, and it can either hold you back or give you power. So, to change your story, you need to find the balance between what you consume and what you create. This means that you should be aware of your daily thoughts, words, and behaviors. Each of these has a way of working that affects your world and how you see it. By changing the way you talk and act to become more upbeat, you create a more abundant and satisfying life automatically. Through the power of your thoughts, words, and actions, we shape the world around us. So let us strive to cultivate noble thoughts, speak words of wisdom and encouragement, and take positive actions that uplift humanity. It is important to look at the patterns in your daily life if you want to truly build a life of wealth and happiness. Note the parts that keep coming up, that are almost boring and mundane. This will help you figure out where you can make changes and make more things instead of just doing the same old things over and over again. Once you've found these trends, these habits, you can talk about yourself and your plan, and then you can change it. Because this is the person you are in your real life. So write down the story of what you walk and talk about in your everyday life. Trust me, you have 5 minutes to change your life. By choosing to create instead of repeating every day, you start to change your world and live a fuller life. Now, before we finish, here's a simple framework for you to work on by yourself. Number 1, self-awareness and understanding. Recognize the power of thoughts, words, and actions in shaping your reality. Understand the role of attention and the consequences of not paying attention. Identify unconscious patterns in your daily life and the imbalance between your consumption and your creation. 2, self-reflection and identification. Observing your daily habits and understanding your influence on reality. Identify personal blueprints and plans that shape your world. Recognize the stories that you tell yourself about your life and the impact on your reality. And 3, change and transformation. Understand the influence of your subconscious world on your relationships and emotional states. Then take responsibility for your mental health and your relationships. Change your story and daily habits to shape your world intentionally. And embrace the power of choice in shaping your world and living a fuller, satisfying life. That's all for this one. And subscribe. And if you're ready to dive into some deep work of your own in a private community that is not on Facebook, check out my Manifestation Miracle Academy. And also check out my freebies below. I will see you next time, or I'll see you in the community. As always, remember that you are worthy, you are sacred, and you are love.